Deakin.
Well, thanks very much, Madam Speaker. I rise this evening to discuss an issue, probably the most important issue to me and my community at the moment, and that is the prevention of violence against women. Just last week, my community and I think all Australians were horrified at the brutal stabbing of a Melbourne schoolgirl who was killed as she walked in her local park very close by to the electorate of Deakin. Events like this sting all of us, and they sit in our memories, and they follow other horrific crimes in similar circumstances, such as the murder of Jill Maher and the murder of Sarah Cafferty, both by perpetrators who were very well known to police and who had extraordinarily long rap sheets, so to speak. And this issue became even more important in my mind following a conversation I had with my wife Anna on the weekend, where I actually asked her whether she could catch the bus home from the station rather than walk home through a local park. And I thought how extraordinarily sad that I would ask her to do that, and that she herself was quite nervous about the prospect of walking home. Needless to say, she hasn't caught the bus, she is walking home. But the mere fact that we had to have that conversation placed with me an obligation, and I think an obligation on this House, to actually do something about violence against women and stop just talking about it. Stop the lovely, grandiose weasel words, but actually do something about it. And it's just not just violent crime against women in a setting like that I've described, but domestic violence against women is also a scourge on our society. In fact, 24 women so far this year have died as a result of violence. 24 women have died as a result of violence. We must do something about it. And again, the frustration in my community is that politicians forever have said the right things, speeches like mine tonight, saying the right things, making very supportive statements, but nothing actually happening. And I think this must stop. Enough is enough. We must have a conversation throughout our polity at a federal and state level to deal with these issues. And I have three that I want to throw out there tonight for discussion. And I don't profess to have the answers in respect of each, but these three issues must be dealt with. Firstly, the whole system of apprehended violence orders must be dealt with. Too often I read in the newspapers perpetrators, men who have breached apprehended violence orders 10, 15, 20 times. And it's extraordinary to me that that could happen without our state intervening at a point before what often occurs, which is a very violent situation at the end. Secondly, I propose that we have a discussion around mandatory minimum sentences for violent crimes against women and children. And I know lots of people, and me being a former lawyer, it's not something that is natural to me to be suggesting, but the reason we are that I am suggesting minimum sentences is because we have lost all faith in the judiciary to actually sentence violent criminals in a way that's consistent with community values. And if the judiciary are not willing to reflect the community's values in respect of violent crime, particularly against women and children, well, mandatory minimum sentences take that discretion away from the judges, and we can ensure that the community feels as though those violent criminals are put behind bars for as long as they need to be, and in accordance with the values of our society. And lastly, this is controversial, but we must develop a process where there are consequences for judges and other decision-making bodies like parole boards who make grievous decisions to not sentence somebody or to release somebody on parole who then commits an extraordinarily violent crime. We must have accountability in our system or else all else fails. And at the moment, in my community of Deakin, people do not trust that there is that accountability, and more importantly, women are not feeling safe, and I think we must do something about it, and it must start now.